All right. Hi, everyone. So here's just a quick video about the chain rule and the product rule. So let's look over here on the left first. So in orange, we have y equals x to the third. X, we're assuming, is a function of time. So dy dt is actually equal to dy dx times dx dt. Okay, that is the definition, the chain rule. So down here, if we look at dy dx in red, okay, if we take the derivative of y as a function of x, we multiply by 3 and we subtract 1, so we get 3x squared. Okay, now in black here, you notice that dy dt is 3x squared times x dot, which is dx dt. All right, let's go over here to the middle where the green is. Okay, so I'm going to assume that x is 10t cubed and y again is x cubed. So I plug in x and raise it to the third. So we get 10 to the third, t to the ninth. Okay, and if we take the derivative of this function right here, with respect to time, we multiply by 9, we subtract 1. Okay, so we get 9 times 10 to the third times t to the 8. Okay, now if we use the definition of the chain rule, okay, which is right here in black, all right, this equation, we'll get the same answer. So over here, the chain rule, dy dt is just dy dx times dx dt. It just got erased for some reason. So dy dt from the chain rule from the other black is 3x squared times x dot. Okay, so 3x squared times x dot. So the derivative of x with respect to t is 30t squared, okay, which is right here. Okay, down below in purple here, I basically plug in what x is, which is 10t cubed. I raise it to the 2, which now becomes 6t. We add 2, we get 8. So we have now 3 times 3, which is 9, and then 10 squared plus 1 gives you 10 to the third. So using the chain rule is the same thing as doing it if we know how to plug in x. So that's the chain rule. The product rule is basically stating here. So y equals xa times va times 1 plus xa squared. You see how there's 1, 2, 3 functions there. 3 variables or 3 sections, and xa, va are both functions of time. So in order to find the derivative, we have to use the product rule, which states the derivative of the first, which is this one, times the other 2 functions, plus the derivative of the second, okay, which I'll put 2, 1, times the derivative of the first and the third. Then finally, it's the derivative of the last, or the third one, times the other 2. So here, I've now, down below here in light blue, I take the derivative of x with respect to t and multiply by the other 2 functions. Okay, so 2, 3. Then I add the derivative of the second, which is here purple, and I multiply by the first and the third. And then finally we add the derivative of the third times the first 2. Now the derivative of this red one is actually, you got to use the chain rule. Okay, so I'm going to call z 1 plus xa squared. So the chain rule states that dx dt is a function is equal to dz dxa times dxa dt. All right, so the chain rule basically states that definition. So the derivative of dz dxa is right here in light blue. okay, that I've circled. It's in red, but it's the light blue underline. You take the derivative of z with respect to xa, you multiply by 2, subtract 1. 2 times 1 plus xa times the derivative of the inside, which is 1. Okay, that is dz dxa. Then multiplied by this term, which is in green. It's xa dot. So then that would go back up there. So that's the product rule.